moments after he appeared in court for a hearing on his habeas corpus plea. His lawyers had asked the court to release him, citing his deteriorating health days after he started a hunger strike to protest his detention.
My Lord, the circumstances compel that an order be issued for Dr. Besigye to regain his liberty, to be able to access a medical facility of his choice so that he can be thoroughly examined to assess his health situation and get proper or specialized treatment.
That's the News Wire. I'm Edwin Lisamira.
The Spice Drive, spicing up your drive.
The days that if she agreed and for you to take her to the dance floor and you are able to do the boogie, everything was goody-goody. There they are, it's tongue-in-cheek with nobody can love me. Sometimes I just feel like I should tickle myself. Listen, so what? Now, Mariam, let me tell you, by the way.
Yeah.
I've told you, I've regaled you the tales of my plastic surgeon, right? Right. I have. Yes. And if you're wondering what did he need plastic surgery for, well, back in the day before there was lights, camera, action, we say we had faces for radio, okay? But now the lights, camera, action, we get the Mariams in the studio so that, makes us look better. But anyway, my plastic surgery is because, there's two things on the side of my face.
I was very worried when I heard you visited one, by the way.
Right. So he was fixing my face. Now, the one thing he looked at me and asked me, do you smoke? I said, Why? Okay, he says, because a cigarette smoke, it delays the healing process. I'm like, you mean? Okay. So what I do, what happens is that a week before I go to see him, I smoke less. Yeah, but so he stopped asking.
Is that what he recommended?
No, he said I stopped smoking, darling.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's not in my house when I'm smoking. So this is the thing. I mentioned this because like from every Monday before Wednesday comes about, I that's now the diet is correct, by the way. Yani in the Digo we eat healthy. Let me tell you.
You're trying to cheat.
Yeah. I'm trying to cheat the boss because man, the salads that were on there yesterday, you'd be impressed. And portions.
Yeah.
She says fistfuls.
Yes.
That to plate, I garnered it into quarters because I knew Ashley Kibutha's going to be in the studio.
Good job. Woohoo, I'm impressed.
Ashley.
Ashley is good influence.
Oh, yes.
Woohoo, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yes.
Good.
So now instead of like from Sundays, we start Sunday evenings.
Love it.
We just do it now we're trying to keep it like the whole week.
Good. And do you feel better?
Yeah, I do feel better.
Good.
But you see, like now after, like that when you've gotten away with something.
Yeah.
Now see, today when you get back, now because Jana, I was about to use the word us. Jana, I bought a big slab of cake. So this is for after Ashley.
You have a piece. Everything in moderation. You enjoy. Yes, it's not every day. It's not the whole cake. So
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Indeed. And we're talking about Wellness Wednesday. And you know what? You need to look and feel your best. And you know what? She is here to help you get to attain that standard. I'm Nagani. It's Wellness Wednesday with Ashley. And I love today's topic. We're talking about vegetarian, vegan, or maybe not. And like I said, yesterday was the launch of the F1 season. 75 years.
Yes.
And everyone is looking forward to seeing Lewis Hamilton. Not only because he went to Ferrari, but mainly because it was in the O2 Arena in London.
Yes.
Okay. But the thing that fascinated me about Sir Lewis. It's called who? First, what's his name?
Sir Louis.
Sir. Chief.
Sir.
He's knighted by the damn queen.
Please help me.
God.
I know, I'm always harassed.
So Sir Lewis Hamilton, he made a thing and he's 40, he's going to be 40 years old. Yeah. And the rookies there, some of them are 17 years old.
Wow.
So a few seasons ago, which is a few years ago, and he says he's changed and he made a hula baloo, noise. He says he's changed his diet because he's now vegan, and because now that he's vegan, it has changed the way he feels and even the way that he thinks.
Oh.
I'm like, Allah, we've got to ask Ashley. Yani dish, chakula,
The way you think.
can change your the way the synapses operate
Yes,
in the head.
absolutely.
We're gonna
Food
talk about
impacts
that.
everything.
We're going to talk about that. First of all, welcome, Ash. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. Thanks for having me again. Excited to be
Pleasure.
back.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yes,
And we need to follow you because it's about time.
it's time.
You okay?
Yes, it's about time to follow It's Dot Time. Yes.
And then that's THYME.
Exactly. Yes.
So listen, we're talking about vegetarian, vegan or not. And so we really, really want to break it down because when you think vegetarian, you're like, oh no, that is tumbukiza without the meat.
Tumbukiza without the meat.
But then also there's, if you go to an Indian restaurant,
Yeah.
they got some
There's so much
beautiful,
variety.
Yes.
beautiful, tasty.
Yes. Vegetarian food. It's amazing.
Thank you. Because
Yes.
as an African man, when you think vegetarian, you're like, no bland boiled.
Absolutely.
There's nothing.
Yeah. Food never has to be boring or bland, no matter what diet you're on.
And actually, like somebody says, when you see the caves, like, the Aboriginal caves.
Yes.
Yeah, with the two paintings.
Yes.
And men say that, if you look at those paintings, men were always hunting animals, which is
Yes.
meat.
Meat.
They never painted vegetables.
Never.
That's true, but how often did they actually get the meat? You see, so fruits and vegetables were the bulk of their diet, but some meat as well.
Now, listen, she's not a quack by night, okay? She has studied the damn thing. She's a registered dietitian, not only here, but in continental United States as well. So take what she says extremely seriously, and you will live a long and healthy life. That is me. I've told you for free. Now I've done my good deed for the day.
I love it.
Now it's over to you, Ash. Listen.
All right.
So I like the way you usually do this. First of all, let's break it down.
Yes.
So we'll do it piece by piece. Ne?
Yeah.
Because the one I'm really fascinated about is the vegan diet.
Yes.
But let's start because you told me there are very many types of vegetarian.
There is.
What is a vegetarian? Now, it might sound like a daft question.
No, there's no such thing as a dumb question.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Because I understand, like, for example, some people can eat eggs and some people cannot.
Excellent. Yes. So now we're going to get into the types of vegetarians.
Sharp.
Okay. So there's a lacto-vegetarian.
Wow.
So they eat all the plants, but they also include dairy products. So lactose is the sugar, remember, that's in the dairy products. So
yes.
think of lacto-vegetarian. They include dairy, but no eggs. Okay. So just plants and dairy.
Okay.
And no meat. So no meat, no eggs. Then you have the ovo-vegetarian.
Wow.
And they include all the plants and eggs, but no dairy.
Oh, wow.
Okay?
Okay.
Then you have lacto-ovo vegetarian that include dairy and eggs.
Right.
So basically the difference is, do you include eggs?
Right.
Or do you include dairy?
Right.
Or do you include eggs and dairy with your plants?
So there's lacto veggie. That one is a person who does what again?
Dairy. So they do all plants but dairy.
Okay.
No meat and no eggs.
Very nice. Okay, then there's the
Ovo.
which does?
They just do eggs,
Right.
no dairy,
Right.
no meat, of course.
Fantastic. And then there's lacto ovo.
Yes, which do dairy and eggs, no meat, and all the plants.
Okay. What is the majority?
Yeah. So, good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. Yeah. There's such a variety, and people tend to pick what works best for them
Right.
or based on their cultural preferences as well.
Right.
Yeah, or what they think the health benefits are and things like that. Yeah.
Now, those who say I'm a vegetarian
Yes.
because I only do white meat, are those cheaters?
Yeah, so that would not be identified as a vegetarian.
Right.
Vegetarians don't do any meat or meat products, but they do products from animals in some case, like the
Right.
dairy
Yes.
or like the eggs, but they don't have the actual meat like the chicken or the fish. If they're eating fish, for example, that's a pescatarian.
Yes.
They eat fish.
Fish, yes.
Yes, so they'll have fish and then all their plant food. Yeah, like fruits and vegetables and grains. That's what I mean by that. Yeah. So there's a lot of different terminology around this, but I think it's important if we really stick kind of within
Just
today's
those
guidelines.
three.
Yeah, not to
Yeah?
confuse
I
people
like that.
because
Yeah, please.
there's actually a list of 10 different
My
types
God. Yes.
of diets related to these different things. So I think it's important to really get this message home and get people to understand the vegetarian types,
Yes.
and then also vegan, which is the most quote unquote extreme version
exactly. Yes.
of a plant-based diet.
Right.
Yeah. And so they have no animal products at all. So no dairy, no eggs. They won't even have honey because it technically comes from a bee, which is an animal.
Okay, now you've told me there's no daft question.
Correct.
So that means they don't eat biscuits, eggs, cakes.
Yeah, if they have milk in them, right? So they'll do maybe a dairy-free, or you can get vegan cakes now, by the way, in Nairobi. You can get vegan cakes, you can get eggless cakes, you can get...
Yeah, they are eggless.
Yeah.
Things,
So there's a lot of those things. So yeah, you wouldn't just eat the general everyday ones that people do because you're mindful, because you choose to avoid, the dairy products and the egg products and the animal products. And you stick strictly to plants only, which is fruits, vegetables, and whole grains.
Okay, now...
legumes, things like that.
Oh man, I've got a series of questions. So is a vegan diet a life? Is this basically like Ozempic? Is it a lifestyle thing? Because it wasn't there 30 years ago, was it?
So it was actually.
It was?
I think it just wasn't something that we necessarily heard of because there's cultures and there's different types of people that have practiced these styles of eating.
Right.
But again, things become more mainstream as people research or travel or things like that. So I don't believe that vegetarianism or veganism is like a nuanced kind of thing.
Right.
I think people are just maybe more aware of it, and maybe also being educated and realizing the power of plants and how fruits and vegetables and whole grains are really healthy. So maybe putting more of an emphasis on that. But I want to be clear, you can still include a lot of plants and whole grains, and you don't have to take away the meat if you don't want to. So for example, I say I eat plant-based, but I still include meat. Here's why. Because 75% of my plate is from plants.
Yes.
You remember we divided in 4.
Yeah.
The fruit is a plant.
I was gonna go there.
The veg is a plant.
Yes.
The whole grain is a plant, and then my portion of meat.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So you can still eat a lot of plants, but you don't have to go vegan or one of the vegetarian ways if you don't want to. You see? So it's really about understanding the differences here and what aligns more with your health goals, maybe your personal ethics, maybe your culture, things like that. And then really understanding, how do I make sure that I get all the nutrients appropriate, even though I'm avoiding a certain particular food group? How can I still remain healthy and ensure that I'm getting all those nutrients?
Ashley, you're very diplomatic in your teachings. but now here's she's Mama Mariam, okay? And right now maybe the kids are a bit older, okay? But there's a mother who's listening to you. And she's driving home with the young ones in the back. Yabo? And, your diet is important.
Very, yes.
Okay. So, and obviously we're going to break down vegetarians. So I'm not talking about the vegetarians. Okay?
Yes.
And with this vegans, is it healthy for kids?
So I would say you can make anything healthy, but it's about being very knowledgeable on what foods have what nutrients. Because as kids are growing, we need to make sure they're getting enough healthy fats. We need to make sure they're getting enough protein. We need to make sure they're getting iron, as for adults as well, but even more important in kids. But again, both adults and kids need to eat healthy and get this nourishment. So is it possible for a child to be vegan and get all their nutrients? You're probably going to have to be on some supplements, but a child...
Sorry,
yes.
Finish.
But a child can be vegan if that's very important to the family, but it's extremely important that they then work with their pediatrician and a dietitian to ensure that the child is meeting all of their growth chart markers. They're growing appropriately, they're not too low on iron or certain vitamins in their blood. So they would have to be tracked more closely, just because it's easier to be low or deficient in some nutrients, just because we can't get all those nutrients we need from a vegan diet, to be very honest.
And thank you. And that is critical. That is critical.
And wait, I'm sorry, I'm going to pull you back. Yeah?
Yes.
Is it advisable to visit your doctor before going to these diets?
That's a good question, by the way.
Yeah, that is a good question. So as an adult, yes, if you would want to get some lab works to see, where is your iron at? where's your B12 at, some other nutritional markers to see, are you in a position to switch vegan, for example? Are you low in iron? Well, let's talk about that. We can get iron sources, but now if you're deficient, maybe we need to put you on a supplement first. So it would be advisable, but I would say more so with a dietitian, so you can understand how to make this a balanced diet to achieve all those nutritional goals, and then follow up with, subsequent lab results to then see, okay, what foods do you need to focus more on to be able to get those nutrients to the level that they need to be based on your own lab results.
So you did mention iron and B12. Are
Yes.
those the main nutrients that vegans and vegetarians miss?
Yes. Again, depending on the type of vegetarian you are, right? But yes, for vegans, it's going to be B12, iron, vitamin D, and then omega-3s.
Wow.
So
Actually, those are a lot, man.
Yeah. So those, and then protein is a concern as well. So we want to make sure that we're getting enough protein because honestly speaking, plant-based sources of protein are not as dense in protein as animal-based.
Sure.
So it's okay. You don't have to have animal-based protein, but you need to be mindful that I'm getting less protein content. So I need to ensure maybe I'm having 3 different protein sources at my meal,
Right.
as opposed to just 1 serving of meat, if you include meat.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, and it's important to also know how many grams of protein am I getting in my lentils, in my nuts, in the tofu, in the seeds.
Bas, because thanks for bringing those up, because we're going to go into commercial break. Then when we get back, there are like 1.4 billion of them. And sorry to racially stereotype, but we're going to go to South Asia.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Want to go to India.
Yeah.
All right. Half of that population are vegetarians.
Yes.
And obviously a lot of us have not gone to India, but we have consumed Indian food.
Yes, especially in Kenya.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what is it that they have? Because, like Madam was telling me, yes, we've got to go to Healthy You. It's called Healthy You.
Yes.
Healthy you, yeah.
Yes, to get our supplements. Because now we're listening to Ashley. But not everyone can go to Healthy You and get the supplements.
Because of cost, you mean? Or?
Yeah, because of
okay.
cost. So where can we get it in the dish?
Yes.
Because I'm sure the Indians don't go and get the supplements also.
Yes.
Where can we get it in
Absolutely.
the food?
And that's what I want to talk about. Yes.
Right?
When we get back. Absolutely.
When we get
yes.
back. So, here when? Vegetarian, vegan, or not? Remember, there's lacto-vegan.
You don't even go there.
Where is that again?
Yeah, lacto-vegan.
They
yeah,
include-
and they include, that's the eggs,
The dairy.
the dairy, sorry,
Yes.
the dairy. Then there's the ovo-vegan,
Yes.
right? Which is now it's sans eggs and sans the dairy,
That's the eggs.
right? Sans
Ovo is eggs.
Yes.
And then lacto-ovo
Ovo.
is dairy and eggs.
Oh, no.
Yes.
You've got to repeat to remember.
Yes, it's true.
You've got to repeat to remember.
To remember.
Yes, and then
We're
write
in
it
class.
down.
Yes, and then write it down. So we'll leave those questions because, now I'm going to call people out. Mariam's friends have got this thing of asking the questions after the fact. Imagine ask now. 0719 012600 or SpiceFM KE, vegetarian, vegan, or not. And then how do supplements play a part? I'm talking about the supplements, of course, that you go into the duka to buy. On your marks, get set, ask those questions. We're getting back with Ashley Kibutha next. And remember, it is at
It's dot
time.
THYME, like the herb.
I like it. It's about that time.
How much do you really know about health insurance? Is it too expensive, too complicated, or only for the rich, or just another unnecessary cost?
Let's set the record straight. Join us on The Situation Room as we break down the myths